guys. So I just got done reading the Mikey, I don't know how you say it, but the article for CI 2300, No Zombies Allowed. This is going to be my video 422. I'm obviously in a car. I hope this isn't too nauseating to watch for y'all. Let's start this off with four quotes. Um, I knew that a media studies course would likely be met with skepticism by certain teachers at Quincy who believed that any time wasted or any time in school away from reading, writing, and arithmetic was time wasted. They would probably see it as an extra, a fluff course that was but one more step away from the all-important basics in which our children were seen to be so sorely lacking. But what could be more basic for kids growing up in the media-drenched, commercially saturated 1990s than the ability to question, analyze, and evaluate the barrage of messages that bombarded them? Wasn't that one of the marks of a truly literate person? Wasn't that what we were after? I found this quote to be extremely significant to me because I'm actually a music education major, so I'm constantly being told that once I'm in my career, I'm going to be fighting to actually keep my career alive because there are so many people who are pushing towards the fundamentals in this era of high stakes testing and No Child Left Behind. I've got to fight to keep the music programs funded. That, as well as athletics, is often one of the first things to get cut once schools start running low on money, which is obviously an issue too in these days. So that's why that quote was pertinent to me. I also had, gradually it became clearer to the kids that the lifestyle and cultural norms depicted in many sitcoms reflect only a narrow slice of America. This is just a big time majority advantage, and we've been going over a lot of these in my foundations class right now. I know I'm in that class with some of y'all. I'm in the Sistos class. And I just find it kind of, I don't know, I'm really conflicted on this because I see that yes, minorities are underrepresented, but that's also that's a very fundamental thing about being a minority is that you're not the majority, and sitcoms are meant to appeal to the majority. That's an economic principle. You appeal to as many people as you possibly can. So while I would say that they lack diversity, I'm not exactly sure what the clear-cut solution to that is. Because you also do need to appeal to the majority, since that's where most of the money is, as they were saying in the article. The primary purpose of these shows is to make a profit. So again, I don't really know what the solution to that is, but I will agree with the quote. That's definitely true. One more quote. As the semester went on, we talked quite a bit more about representation on television. How some groups of people are overrepresented while others are hardly showing up at all. We also examined how minorities are shown many times in stereotypical roles or situations. African Americans, though more visible on TV than in years past, are still showing up primarily in dippy comedies that are at best caricatures of contemporary black life. Mexicans and other minority ethnic groups are seldom shown in any dramatic context outside from the occasional drug dealer or criminal, and women continue to be offered a more limited range of roles than their male counterparts. First reaction to this, I read that, and that's a really, really tragic thing. Mexicans and other minorities are only portrayed as drug dealers or criminals. So that brings me to my next thought. When was this written? Is that still true? Am I that oblivious? Because I've never noticed that. Maybe I just don't watch enough TV, but that would definitely be a problem. And that sounds very 90s to me, but I don't know. It also reminded me of Ethnic Notions, which is a big documentary on exactly this, how minority racial groups tend to show up only as caricatures of what the majority group perceives them as, and it just furthers those stereotypes. We watched a clip of that in my foundations class. The last quote is, My students and I, hands raised in the air, followed the floor director's lead and swayed back and forth to the hip-hop beat. Zombies of a different sort. Chalk up one more for the opposition. Um, just reading this is really, really, really poetic, but also on a very applicable level. That's so true that even if we do have the skills to very critically analyze every media that we see, the reality of it is that it's not feasible to analyze every single thing that we see. So that presents us with an option, I think, and that is either to watch without that filter and without that analytical lens of thinking thoroughly about what we're watching before we just absorb it, or just to try and avoid it. I think the best way to do that or to solve that issue is to just be critical about the source that you're watching and find sources that you're very comfortable with and get used to those. When I say comfortable with, of course, I mean that they're not furthering these stereotypes, or they have an agenda aside from making money and have a huge basis in truth. Next up, I'm going to talk about my real life examples. Looks like I associated these with quotes. So I began with, "We just like the music," added Veronica with a shrug of her shoulders. "I know the feeling, ... says the speaker. And I think that's definitely a big thing in society today. Like, if you just turn on the radio and listen to the popular music, it's really, really like over-sexualized, very explicit. Oftentimes they're rapping, rap in particular. I mean, I don't want to call out. I just did. Rap in particular makes a certain lifestyle, the gangster lifestyle, a lot more appealing and glamorous than it really is in real life. And I really don't think that's okay. My real life example in particular for this one is I work at a summer camp. I work at Camp Toccoa, for y'all that didn't know that. So I was up there working a weekend this past fall semester, and I was running the high ropes course. So there were a bunch of kids, and it was a church there. So kids and their families and their mom and dads were cheering them on as they were climbing up the tower and running around getting ready to do that big high rope swing. And there was a girl who was about halfway up the pole, and her parents were really, really cheering her on. They were, I think they would have been embarrassed if she had turned around. So they were trying everything that they could to get her up that pole, get it done with. And one of the last things they tried was offering to play her favorite song. So I'm just here operating this, belaying them. Like, oh, well, this could be interesting. Like, I wonder what kids' favorite songs are these days. So sure enough, she asked for her favorite song, and her mom pulled it up on her iPhone, and she started playing Whistle Baby by Flo Rida. Obviously, they're not really listening to that song, because I'm pretty confident that's not something you would want to play to your 7-year-old. Call me conservative, but that's not a moral that I would want to instill in my 7-year-old daughter. So people are just oblivious to the underlying messages in music, and it's pretty bad. Next real life example is just a really generic, this awareness of the media and its influence in reality and culture and everything has been a huge theme of my college life so far, especially with my freshman year seminar. I took the American Dream one last year. And they were just very, very, very critical of the American Dream, and they took a lot of time to really go through issue by issue and see what is the media telling you, what is history telling you that you have to be and you have to live up to and you have to strive for. And English 1000 was really big on that too. We did a lot of critical analysis of media and commercials and advertisements and whatnot. Last but not least, I've got 2 thought-provoking questions. Media or reality? In what ways can these change each other? In what ways are they not capable of changing each other? And my last item is, should there be an affirmative action initiative for the media involving an intentional inclusion of minorities in shows? what would be the implications of this possibility? So I don't know if I'm going to get these answered, but I definitely think that would be a good discussion to have. So I guess that pretty much covers it. I hope y'all are doing well. See ya.